Welcome back to the Chappy Bengals Podcast. Appreciate you guys tuning in. Today is Sunday, March 2nd. Nice to have Chappy back in the studio. I did a solo take the other day.
Yeah.
It was weird right off the rip, but gonna try and get more content out. But the first one's always it's a little tough to dip the toes in there. But went pretty good. I think.
No, it was good. I watched it. It was good.
Pretty solid. We want to talk a little bit more football, and I know the offseason is a little bit different. We're touching on some different things, but I personally love the offseason football. We got a plethora of stuff NFL to go over today. I'm excited to dive into that. A little bit of hockey stuff as well, some other things we got to touch on. But Chappy, how you been, man?
Been good, man. Honestly, just lots of work. You know, just the regular life out there. But yeah, no, it's been lovely. You know, as it goes.
You're the parent too.
Yeah, and
you're the parent on that side, so you got a little bit more to juggle than I do.
Yeah, well, hey, that's life, and that's what it is. But can't wait to just talk football. I was like, we're going in a little spell of like, hey, we want to talk football. Something's got to happen in football, and then some nice little news drops happen, and we're really excited to get into that because some good stuff. I was a little shocked by some of the news here, so I like to see it, and we'll get into it.
Yeah, I mean, this is the best part of the year. Like, you have that little dry spell post Super Bowl where it's just like nothing's happening, right? But now you get the juices flowing. We got the NFL Combine. I was watching that all weekend, just seeing kind of what's going on, getting the headlines, seeing where some teams are looking, what players are going to land where, and all the speculation that comes with it. That's the best part of the offseason. But we got a bunch of headlines that we got to go over today, and I think we're going to start with a big one, considering all our complaints during the season last year and everything that is the NFL and the controversies. The NFL is replacing the first down chains with the Hawkeye virtual measurement system. Now, I want to get your take on this.
I know something.
It's always something, and I mean, I'm a little concerned right off the rip, but I want to get your take first on this. Give me your thoughts on the implementation of the Hawkeye.
Well, you had to know in the playoffs when the biggest controversy of the game is going to be, hey, did they get that first down? Did they get that first down? And obviously the Josh Allen, the 17 angles that hypothetically maybe showed that he might have gotten it, and all the controversy that came with that. You had, amateur people out there just trying to investigate on how this could be better done. And then we know that something exists in the background, and then all of a sudden they put it in place just like they have in the past. And this is just how the NFL does it. They're probably the best at this stuff, where it's like, oh, here's the solution, fans. We got something for you already. And here you go. I don't know how to feel about it. To be fair, like, I think having it be something that people can definitively think is the answer, so it kind of takes away the muddiness of it, is probably a good thing. Like, we were just talking about the ABS situation in baseball, where like a lot of players are just kind of taking a strike, shutting up, and walking back to the dugout now. There's not that like controversy behind like, is it rigged? Da 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 da. So I think it's going to be decent to have something where it's like technology's having that final answer for you. So just kind of take it. You may believe otherwise, but at least something is there definitively. And it's not up to human judgment, which we've seen has been skewed. Like when the refs were coming down the line there, and the Chiefs players are getting in the way of it, and they're throwing off the different angles. You got one ahead of it and one behind it. That wouldn't happen with this system. So I think it's good. We'll just see how this kind of plays out. What do you think?
Yeah, I would agree with you. I just think whenever they implement these things, just like every other rule they do, like there's always something wrong. With this, though, I look at it, I'm like, I don't know how you could fuck this up. Like, it's either you get it or you don't, right? Like, once you place that marker, if the technology is there, it's a check or it's an X. Like, you made it or not. There should be no gray area to it, right? That's what I like. But when I look at it, like what they do this last year, they implemented the hip drop tackle. They changed the kickoff rules. They didn't call shit. I think they maybe called it once all year, potentially at the start, and then the rest of it was like they didn't call shit, right? It was when they felt like they wanted to call it.
They tossed out more fines to Joe Mixon for commenting on the actual hip drop tackle than actually calling the hip drop
from another person. Yeah, like how seriously. Incredible is that?
That's that's it too. Yeah.
It's crazy to me. So when I look at this, and then before it was like the pass interference, and like that was an absolute joke. After the call that happened that led to the Saints, was it losing to the Rams and going to the Super Bowl? Like, that was a blatant pass interference call, right? Like,
Yeah.
I just don't know how this is going to be policed. It should be that simple, but, just with the NFL, I think they've given me the I just don't have the confidence for them to execute purely, especially on the first season, right? And now we already have talks about like them changing the kickoff rule again, and it's just like, guys,
Well,
come on.
Like, what did you think of it last year? Like,
The kickoff?
yeah, like I thought it just
atrocious.
I thought it just dulled that entire
Why
part
do
of
we
the
even
game
have it?
right out. Yeah, just honestly at that point, it
Just
was
get rid
either
of it if you're gonna
eliminate
do
it
this.
if you're talking to have it still as a traditional thing, then just go back to the old way because that was a lot more exciting. So yeah, I found this was just, I get it. Like, the power of these kickers is like, well, then force the kicker not to do that. Like, try and have it so that the kicker who can boot it like a fucking quarter mile is getting penalized like they would for kicking it out, right?
Yeah.
Like, if it goes long
Have
and
them
out,
place
then
it, like,
or touchback, like, then that's a problem. So it'd be like I'd rather have them try and force like an opportunity with the kicking team to just get the ball into the hands of the opposing team and then see what happens from there, just so that it's a fair play on each side of the ball. But like what they're doing with this is just like, it's a shat. Like, I don't even know what to say. Like, it's shit. Like, not one play came nice out of that kickoff.
No, I know. It really is awful, and they turned like one of the better parts of the game was the exciting kickoff returns and
What
everything.
could happen?
Yeah, like the potential of the play and even the
And the
surprise, like
onside
the
kick.
onside. Yeah, exactly. The onside kicks, right? And to just axe that completely from the game, I think they're doing a little bit too much manufacturing when it comes to this. I get it's player safety, but you talk about player safety on these things, and then on the other side of the coin, it's like, we're going to make you guys travel now to the UK, and we're going to take 3 games in a 10-day span, and you're going to play those. Like, on that side of the coin, it's ridiculous, but we're going to talk about player safety. To me, it's just, it makes no sense.
Yeah.
But yeah, like, I don't know what they're going to do moving forward. Even more so with the kickoff now. It's like, what else are you going to do? You might as well just get rid of it at this point with what you're doing. But interesting. I hope that Hawkeye thing comes in and it really takes away the guessing to first downs. Think about how clean that would be. Like,
Well, yeah, and then there's no bullshit.
No controversy. Yeah. It's just, you got it or you didn't, and it's literally as simple as that. So that's exciting. Now, another thing I wanted to kind of look at, so the NHL and the NFLPA, they release these report cards. I don't know if you've seen any of these, but I laugh at them from time to time because Cincinnati always has something with like a fucking F on it.
Yeah.
It's
Where your
hilarious.
team's ass,
to
so
me.
I don't know why you keep getting shocked about it.
Listen, it's not about the team this time, Jeff. It's the
Yeah.
facilities and
Okay.
the supporting cast around the team.
Yeah.
So I took a look at this, and
Last time I checked, they are part of the team. Yeah.
so Cincinnati right off the rip got F- for treatment of families. Like, what does that even fucking mean? Like, what does A+ treatment of families look like as opposed to F-?
Well, it is
right?
always
Like,
crazy. Like, I know there's that viral clip of it's like the Kelsey family, and they're having to like pay their tickets for like all of that
the
stuff,
games,
right? For the games, and it's like that's that kind of stuff that I think gets this kind of reporting to come through, where it's like, well, maybe one team does something to pay for it, the other teams don't. And then shit like that comes around. So it's like facilities and all that. Like, I know the Jays have probably one of the best training facilities in the major leagues. And it's something that they've tried to use as a pull to bring in talent.
Oh, yeah.
Not going so well so far, but
Yeah.
they get graded highly for it. So, I'm not. Yeah. What do we expect from Cincinnati? Like, do they pay for anything? They don't even pay for their coaches. So
listen.
let alone,
I don't need to hear the bullshit we're cheap talk. I've heard it a million times from everybody else. And okay,
Facts are
let's look
facts.
at some of these other teams. But surprisingly, or maybe not even surprisingly, the number one team at the top here was the Miami Dolphins. Are we shocked that like a Florida team has the best like facilities this fucking summer all the time around there? Like, of course,
Not
of
at
course,
all.
you got the best facilities, bro. You don't got weather and climate to deal with in that sense.
well.
Yeah, okay, listen, it's still warm. Still
Yes,
warm. You don't
it's
gotta worry
nice
about the
weather.
snow
Yes,
and all that
100%.
stuff.
It's the weather that you want
Yeah,
to
you get
be
the
in,
hurricanes
with the
and
occasional
then-
get the fuck out of town. Yeah,
Exactly.
that's 100% it.
But I look at this too, and I'm like, okay, like this is probably why Miami's never going to win a fucking Super Bowl too, because they're like the retirement team residents. People they enjoy life too much over there. They're not even fixated on football. You get these players, they go over there, and then the minute the playoffs happen, why do we think the Dolphins play so well in the months of September and October, and then just go downhill as the weather starts to deteriorate? Anytime they have to go across to a cold climate, they can't acclimate themselves accordingly, right?
Yeah.
Like, technically, that's, when the weather's really hot in those early months, teams go in there, they have a hard time. And then the Miami players are acclimated so well. But it's the opposite when it comes down to, like, playoff football. And I know they were talking about this, too, about why don't we just dome every stadium from here on out? But realistically, like, that's because that would be an advantage for a lot of teams if you have teams that are warm climate like that. So playing, like, look at the Bills and the competitive advantage they might have, when they played the Ravens, although those teams are very similar. But it definitely plays a part in that. And
sorry, I'm just looking at the Jets ownership rating right now, which is a F.
See you later, Jets.
What's the Giants? I gotta look at that. Oh, C+. Oh, that's better. That's better.
Not bad. Well, the Jets have gotten that for the longest time, man. But I look at the ownership and I'm like,
what's happening, pal?
At least this guy went out there and tried to do something for the franchise this past season, right?
Gets slated for it.
Fell on his face, but Buddy went out there and laid it all on the line. Sure, you're eating it here now, but you took a shot, didn't come to fruition. I'd rather have that guy than a guy that sits on the sideline and plays it safe the entire time, right?
Yeah.
So depends how you want to look at it. But I just find these things so hilarious with the grades of the facilities and the treatment. It's
look
wild
at Atlanta,
to see.
Atlanta's
stacked up there.
A+, A+. They got B in one thing, but I was like,
the
wow.
The good thing about
Training
Atlanta
room.
is
Yeah.
Atlanta, did you see what they charge for like concession stands and stuff like that?
Yeah, I saw that. Yep.
I love that, man.
Yeah.
Like
that's what it should be.
That's exactly what it should be, man.
Yeah.
You got people that bring their families and stuff there and to go have a good time at a game.
Yeah.
Why are you charging arms
Sorry,
and
we're
legs
not
for,
billionaires.
Like, a bag of popcorn.
Like,
yeah.
we're trying to get on our way to making good money with this stuff.
That's
But
it.
hey, like not a lot of people have that kind of money in the bank, right? And so
And nowadays you're paying an arm and a leg for the ticket prices as well.
the
Could you
ticket
imagine
prices
if you're
are
bringing
crazy.
like kids?
Yeah.
Like it would just be nuts. You're spending like an easy $1,000 on tickets for like 4 or 5 people. So
Yep.
It's nice to see somebody's doing that kind of stuff for the fans out there, and I think a lot more people
Cardinals do not like their locker room. I've never seen an F minus, man. Like an F is worse enough. Like an F minus is awesome.
That's
like,
pretty wild.
What is that? Like who got below an F? That's incredible.
That's
to
the
me.
same with Cleveland Browns got an F minus on the locker room. I mean, like, well, Cincinnati just redid their locker room.
That's the other thing. I want to be able to, like, I guess we can look into this. Like, it'll give you a breakdown, and it'll say why.
Absolutely.
This is incredible.
It gives you a whole breakdown. It's hilarious.
So, yeah.
Miami got straight A's across the board. Like, they didn't get a lower grade than an A. Not even an A minus.
The rate of the freshness of their food was a 7.45 out of 10.
Dude, we got an F on the food/dining area. That's crazy.
What kind of shit is this? What kind of shit is this?
You imagine playing for a professional sports team and the food you're eating is so
it's a little cold. We need
That's
a little
fucking
bit,
nuts.
Needs to be a little bit more fresh.
What are we doing here?
Yeah. No
this
kidding.
Is some funny shit, though. Like, if you guys dive into this and you take a look at some of these things, probably one of the funnier things that the NFL releases out here.
Yeah, we'll put the link in the comments for sure.
Yeah. We'll post that link for you guys. You can take a look at it. Let us know what you think, how you feel about some of the facilities and their treatment towards the players.
Hey, locker room A+ for the Bengals, though. That's good. Treatment of
That's
families.
just
I'm going
because
to dive into this one. Treatment of families. I want to know
I'm very curious.
Is Zach Taylor just a piece of shit to people's kids? Like, I want to know. I want to know
too, man.
What's
I want to
wrong,
know
Zach?
what's going on here. What are they doing?
What are they
doing
for? I'm kidding. It's crazy.
Oh man, that's awesome.
Oh, they do not offer daycare. That's the reason why. Oh, that's terrible. What are you doing, Bengals?
Is that really what's moving the needle here?
The Bengals are only one of 3 teams that do not offer daycare.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah. Come on. Even IKEA has a daycare in it. Let's go. Like, what are we doing here, Bengals?
We'll throw that down there. The team report cards in the comments. You guys can take a look at it.
That's the best thing I read all year. This is awesome.
Now, so I wanted to kind of touch on this. What do you think of this? So there's been a recent outcry here from some of the GMs on banning the tush push. I would love to get your thoughts on where you think that stands.
Just do a better job, man. Like, I don't know. Like,
what are we talking about here?
I just don't get it. Maybe, so one thing, maybe just not have it be like, you don't change it. Like, I just think it should just be a rule. If you're gonna say it's, it's tougher to do, make sure it's a quarterback. Simple as that. Because they've obviously, certain teams have tried to do it with like different players, like tight ends and things like that. But then it just changes the like.
Yeah, no.
Like,
it's I think it's a glorified
so, like, you got to do
quarterback sneak, man.
Yeah,
like,
you got like.
What are we doing here?
You can't take it out. Like, how would you take it out? Like, that's the thing. I'm trying to figure out how would you like change or manipulate
quarterback sneaks for across
quarterback
the
sneaks, running backs, like obviously our plays like draws and whatever the case options. Like that's gonna stay the same. So like what would be the way that you change it outside of just banning that play? I don't understand.
Well,
so you can't have 2 people behind.
They'll probably, if anything, they take the players from the pushing aspect of it, but you're still not eliminating the basis of the play. Like it's the close contact, the scrum, essentially, whatever it is, whatever you want to compare it to. But I look at it and I'm like, these guys have established a competitive advantage. Yeah. They're clearly whooping everybody with it, and they're great at it because they execute.
You can't stack the box even harder. Like,
no.
Like,
listen, if these guys are lining up telling you exactly what they're going to do and they're still beating you, come on.
Yeah.
Like, that's all you need to. And it's not even like everybody's just out here and it's a default play. You saw Buffalo against Kansas City in the playoffs. Yeah. How many times they tried to run that QB sneak?
Yeah.
Did it work?
No.
Yeah. it didn't work as well.
It's definitely Saquon and Buddy's gym work going on right there, like where they can fucking squat 600 pounds.
You got some big boys.
You got some big boys with some big legs, and they're able to
great
make
offensive
work.
line.
Yeah,
and they practice it too. Like I don't know if you saw the sideline clip there, where the one guy was talking about it. He's like, "Oh, you should just line 2 guys up behind and push."
Yeah,
I forget what game that was. The sound clip there, and then Sirianni, like the evolution of the tush push.
Yes.
And then this guy just. He
started in Indianapolis, I believe, or something like that. Yeah.
Like he took a bigger quarterback, put him in there. They did the QB sneak, and thus we have the tush push. Like you just because you're getting beat by it.
Yeah.
Some guy, I think I saw a post that's just like, just do a better job of stopping them on the 3rd down, and it's like, that's probably it.
That also works.
Maybe don't let them get to 4th and inches, and you're good to go here.
Yeah.
So I'm completely like, I can't even believe people will go up to the podium and even bring that up. Yeah. That's laughable to me.
No,
pretty crazy. But stop it is right. Now let's get into we got some player news, man. A lot of stuff going down. We had a big trade come through yesterday.
Yes.
We'll start with that. Mr. Deebo Samuel getting traded to the Washington Commanders for a 5th round pick. Yeah. Now the first thing I saw was a funny comment comparing it to Dallas, how they had traded a 4th round pick in season to acquire I forget who it was from the Panthers. Can't get the player's name off the top of my head, but they traded a 4th round pick. I got to Google the name here.
Yeah. I don't even know.
Wide receiver. Yeah, so Panthers receiver. See, you don't even know his name. Jonathan Mingo. That was it. So you don't even remember. Like mid-season, they traded a 4th round pick for Jonathan Mingo.
Big move.
Legit, and these guys are out here, and it's like
same thing.
Just for another L for the Cowboys. We're overpaying for receivers that are nowhere near Deebo's caliber. But I think we understand why he went for that. Deebo's age, he's 29 years old. He's a big injury history, and he's got a pretty hefty contract too. So Washington can eat that right now. But what do you think of the trade?
No, I think that's such the right move to make for the Commanders. Like they're finally getting it pieces together. They needed another big name on the offense. They've now acquired that in Deebo. I hope he plays healthy throughout the year. Honestly, that and McLaurin is going to be fucking awesome to watch with Jaden
Yep.
Daniels. Like I can't wait to watch Washington football evolve even more than what it was last year. Getting another weapon both in the backfield and wide receiver, like that's awesome. Like they're going to utilize him like that, hopefully. And I think that's just massive for him. What do you think?
Yeah, I'm excited for the versatility. Obviously, they're loading up on Jaden's rookie contract, and they're a cunt hair away from the Super Bowl last year. So I mean, you might as well load up on these guys, get them in here. They were looking for a receiver, and Deebo is clearly one of the guys that were on the block. We talked about the 49ers are going to have, obviously they're going to have to sign Brock Purdy here in the offseason, and they just signed Brandon Ayuk last year, and they clearly are going to need to free up some cap space. So I think that was the right move on their part as well. But Deebo had a bit of an up and down year, right? Like he's a versatile
and he was
tool.
talking mad shit and just not coming through in the end of it. So we'll see how that goes. I think it's just going to be a fresh kind of start for him, and hopefully he doesn't bring any drama to that locker room that's already obviously got some good things going in the right direction for them. So
absolutely.
I think that won't happen. I think he'll be a stud, and I think honestly this will be a good thing for the Washington team and just kind of taking that next step.
Yeah, I agree. So that was cool. That was interesting. We also had some news on Matthew Stafford there. There's a bit of flirting going on between Stafford and some other teams, but ultimately the news came out that the Rams are going to be re-signing Matthew Stafford. I don't think I saw the complete details on what the contract extension was going to be, but they've come to terms apparently. But some of the teams that were in talks were the Raiders and the Giants looking for Stafford.
Yeah.
But to me, I was looking at it, I'm like, man, if you're Matt Stafford, in what world you're on the last couple years of your career?
Yeah.
What's going to entice you to switch now? I know these guys do a lot of this stuff just to drive their market value up a little bit, but to me, I didn't see Stafford leaving, and I don't know how you felt about it. Same thing.
No, that was he's had a great end of his career here. Like I don't think there's going to be injuries have been a part of this since the Super Bowl, right? Like that's been definitely a thing that's like brought him down. Like even past that year, it was injuries and back and wrist, whatever the case, like all those problems. So he's definitely had a lot of struggles there. But then last season he was great. Like he was Stafford of old. And we know he's a battler, right? Like we've seen all the clips online of him just going out and getting absolutely destroyed and still going out and playing with Detroit. And that's never left his persona, his like image of how to play the game, right? So no, I think he's just awesome to watch. I'm a big fan of Stafford my entire life. Like, and I honestly I'm excited to see how it kind of tapers off for him here. But excited to kind of see how and what the Rams do around this, because they were an interesting team last year. We weren't sure what they were in the early going, as well as the injury stuff that was happening. We know Kupp is on the move, so it'd be interesting to see what they're doing here to kind of just let this ride into the sunset and see if they.
Well, they're so close.
They are, right? Yeah.
They were literally right there with the Eagles last year.
Yeah,
if it didn't snow, that game's probably a little bit tighter than we thought.
Yeah, probably, but it's like the window is, I think, now. Like it is, and they know that, and they'll play this out. But no, it's definitely going to be an interesting kind of tale here, especially with all the Cooper stuff. And I don't know, they're not. It doesn't look like they're getting anyone else just yet, but we'll see.
Yeah, we're going to see how that plays out for sure. But that was interesting. Just a little bit of drama in the offseason, but now you got the teams like the Giants and the Raiders looking at guys like Sam Darnold.
Did you see the Giants thing for like next up for like potentially moving on Aaron Rodgers? I was like,
I can't do that.
You guys. Can't do that. John,
if you're not a team
man?
That's like, if you're not a team that's like right on the cusp,
I have no idea why you would do that.
Like the only team I can see going for Aaron Rodgers that would be a good suitor is like Pittsburgh, right? Like you got to be one of those teams where it's
Yeah,
like,
and even that, like,
I know, even with Pittsburgh, it's like they did their thing last year,
yeah,
and we saw
they
what
have
happened there.
that.
You
They
had a
have
vet.
that player.
That's what they got going
Yeah.
already. So I don't know how many times you want to run that back. I don't even know where he fits, man. I don't know where he fits. It's tough.
Some forestry somewhere out in California,
I
in a
guess so,
bush,
man.
potentially a hole
Yeah.
with a dark area and some ayahuasca.
Ayahuasca. And then
That's
the other
where he
guy, Jets are
belongs.
expected to release Devontae Adams. He's got a massive cap hit, so
Yeah.
I don't see any trade partner happening here just based on that. I think he's going to be a free agent, then he's going to be free to sign where he chooses. We'll see where that goes with Devontae. And then we had news that Kelsey was going to be returning for the season. How do you feel about Travis Kelsey coming back to play?
Yeah, I'm just, I feel no ways about that decision. We'll see how it plays. Honestly, for him, he didn't really play all that well last season. He's
No, he
obviously
did
got
not.
the records and the accolades. So I was a little shocked, to be fair.
Yeah.
But guy loves football, so fuck it, just keep playing.
Yeah, I
Like,
mean, if
enjoy
your
it.
body's
Yeah.
if your body's still got some in you,
Yeah.
then go for
As
it. But
long
he
as
was
like
he was not very standout last year.
no,
Very slow.
no
Very slow.
slow, not a lot of separation.
But that's the beauty of
Blocking
his game.
is
He
kind of
doesn't
come
need
to be more of his
do
game. Yeah, like I
He
feel
is
like he's more
like
involved on that front now.
where I think he makes his plays is Patrick Mahomes scrambles and he just finds a soft spot in the
Slow,
zone,
yeah, little hole.
and that's pretty much what he does. He's not getting separation in the first 2-3 seconds anymore.
Yeah.
That's not his game anymore. It's just not happening. So he'll be there. He'll be a piece. Do I think the offense is going to run through him? Absolutely not. I think it's going to be more of like the Rashee Rice, the Xavier Worthy, those receivers now. They're going to be a big piece of it, and they're going to need to figure out that
Well,
run
hopefully
game a little
they
bit
can
more.
open up the space downfield as well as just with their speed, right? And
I
they've been
I
able
think
to
they
do
will
that.
be
And
able
then
to.
you just get those little pocket passes down in the center area, just where he
Yeah.
lives, and that's how you gain
Take
ground.
it.
That's what the greatest quarterbacks do: is they pick in that zone and they just drill it 10 yards every time until they find something bigger. So
That's it. If you want to play zone, then Trav's probably going to find the soft spot there. So the only thing I don't like about that is I do not want to see Taylor Swift anymore.
No.
I thought I was
we're
going to
gonna
be
see
the end
more.
of it this year.
She's
yeah,
at every
this
game.
is the
She's no longer
gonna
on her
be there.
tour. She's
the
at
farewell
every
tour.
fucking game.
It's the
of
Travis
this.
Kelsey farewell tour now.
It's the
man.
Travis Air tour. Yeah, fuck.
Ridiculous. So, man, some other things that kind of came out here. We got Bills signed Khalil Shakir 4-year extension up to $60
deal.
million. I thought that was a great deal too. He's a pretty solid player. Flies under the
Solid.
radar.
Yeah.
I think we've seen that last year. Do I think the Bills need to go out and get a guy? Still think so. I still don't think he's that guy, but he has a significant role in the offense. So that was a good signing there. Now, some other comments I thought were pretty funny. Saints GM came out and said, quote unquote, "We can win with Derek Carr." What do you think about that?
Good luck.
Chappy?
Good luck with that. Good luck.
Good luck is right.
Yeah.
Good luck is
You got
right.
your players literally saying this guy's throwing them suicide balls and going off on the internet and Twitter and all that kind of shit. I think Derek Carr has had a great career. I think he's has an awesome career. I think the situation right now, what was it, 96 points in the first 2 games last year, and then nothing.
Straight downhill after that.
And 7
Straight
games in a
downhill after
row,
that.
and an injury, and I don't necessarily agree with that, good sir. But you
I don't
do
see
you.
this season being any different if that's what you're going to run back.
No.
Don't see it. So they got cap issues, things like that. I love it. Come out and they say things like this, like the Jets. Jets came out. They said they're prepared to start the season with Tyrod Taylor under center. Good luck selling tickets.
Yeah.
Good luck selling tickets
Oh, they'll
with
sell tickets.
with that mantra.
Yeah.
You know, let's run Tyrod Taylor out there. If that is the case, I promise you, he will not make it past like 4 or 5 games because he gets sidelined too all the time.
Yeah.
I don't know how you do that. That's pretty crazy. But I guess you gotta do something.
Yep.
Gotta do something. But some of the last comments I wanted to kind of touch on was the Falcons GM saying that Cousins is going to remain the backup. Pretty
Yeah, that
expensive
was
backup.
wild. Expensive backup.
Pretty weird take.
Also, just an what a weird situation to put the guy in. Like, you had all of what happened last year. You clearly went to Michael Penix, and then you said, well, like, we're going to cut this guy in March. Yeah, it's March 3rd right now?
Yeah.
Yeah. How's that
Really
going?
expensive backup.
Yeah.
I understand the whole, like,
March 2nd. Yeah.
like, yeah, veteran quarterback, aid the young guy type of deal. But
I bet he
really
was like, and he's a
tag.
competitor. He might have been just been like, yeah, sure, I'll make that money and sit on the fucking
Yeah.
bench. Like, no problem to me.
I don't think he gives a shit at this point in his
No.
career. He's made so much money doing his thing, and I don't know.
Go Chains, man.
He's getting close to backup material here, so that'll be interesting to see on the Falcon side of things. But man, it's getting interesting. It's getting interesting out there, so I'm excited to keep up with the NFL and keep seeing what's going on. Draft is 2 months away, end of April there, so there's going to be a lot of build up, and we got the free agency and everything prior to, so that's going to be exciting to dive in and talk about.
Yeah.
But now we can bounce over the NHL, man. I wanted to start with so we got a couple records here we're kind of watching, and the first one I want to touch on is your boy, Mr. Austin Matthews, moving into second all-time on the Leafs scoring list. And if you guys haven't seen this scoring list, Matthews has played significantly less games, and he is crushing this goal-scoring record, so I think he's going to be up there pretty soon.
No contest.
So, how you feel about old Matthews? He's been a little bit cold as of late.
Another one
but
today.
Where are the Leafs at right now?
Yeah.
Chappy, how are you feeling about your boys?
Honestly, the Leafs are on a level right now. I sent to you, and I was joking about it, obviously, but I was like, oh, this is the year. Like, this is 100%. Everything is rolling this way to be like, they are third right now overall in the NHL. They are going to be, I honestly think, with a couple more games in hand here, first in the conference. Like, everything is heading towards this team finally playing playoff hockey in March. Like, this is actually, like, today's win. Like, they're on a hot streak, man. The game today was incredible. If you didn't see Matthew Nye's goal, it was fucking awesome.
0.1 seconds left. It was pretty wild.
0.01 seconds left on the clock, and this guy buries one. Number one, Pittsburgh's goaltending is shit. But number two, just the team is feeling it. They're just getting things done in weird, greasy ways, which is what you need to do to kind of build that playoff hockey mentality. And Berube's like, you can tell he's got them playing just a consistent way every single period. It's not like my one buddy and I were talking about this the other day, where it's like there's a difference between how Keefe played this team and how Berube plays his team. Keefe would make changes to try and change things up if he felt they weren't working, and he would go into the third and he would start changing lines and he would constantly be adjusting things. Berube doesn't do that. Berube just goes, go out and fucking play the game,
fix it,
play it,
figure it
like
out.
Fix it on your shit, like, and it's working. This team is coming back. The Boston win was just like, I'm fucking Jim Carrey. I'm exercising the demons. Like, it was literally like everything you want to see out of that situation in TD was just incredible. Like, I feel like the Canada win there is number one, great. Number two, the Leafs going back and coming back from 3-0 and winning a game 4-3 in OT. Unbelievable. Like, there was a different feel to that game. Marchand went out and said it too. He's like, yeah, just different team. Like, they've been on that train for a little bit, where it's like, now they're playing different, they're playing big, they're playing rough, and they're getting shit done in tight areas. And honestly, I'm excited to see what this team can do, because I think was that 4 or 5 in a row. Like, they're on one right now.
They are. I mean, they got their guys back, and Nye's playing well too, right? Like, but I love talking regular season Leafs hockey, because,
shut up.
it only holds so much weight. It only holds so much weight.
Shut up.
But I'm looking at we're looking at the East right now, and you got Florida on top. Washington.
Washington's been playing great defensive hockey all year. Like, they've just been.
They have.
Like,
goalie's been playing amazing too, right?
Yeah.
So I look at Washington. I'm like, wow, that is incredible. So
yeah, Washington's the biggest what is going on in the league this year, like
Yeah,
kind of
really.
team,
They
because you
truly
wouldn't have
are.
not expected that.
Yeah, and you got the whole Ovechkin narrative too with them.
Yeah,
11
great
goals away
chase.
from beating Wayner. Obviously, he's gonna surpass that, and he's gonna be the goal scoring champ in the league, which is crazy, man.
I love
Crazy to
that.
see because we grew up watching these guys playing, and
Yeah,
you got Crosby too, who
yeah,
is just hit a milestone with the assist
yeah.
today as well, and it's crazy because I remember watching them go at it when they were like brand new,
Yeah.
young bucks in the
Right
league, and now
into
we're
it.
here, and these guys are on the back
Yeah,
end
how wild
solidifying
is that? How
themselves.
much does that
It's
make you feel
crazy.
old? Like fuck, like
Yeah, it makes me feel old for sure. It really
I'm
does.
remembering back to that like old black with the like different Penguins jersey logo when Sid's
Yeah,
alongside of Mario, and I'm like, that's
yeah,
crazy, man. Now we're looking at this career almost at the end of it, and that's
yeah.
just nuts to watch. And like Ovechkin at that time, it was always like, no one's gonna beat Wayne Gretzky's record for goals.
Yeah,
And now we're here and he's 11 goals out. Like that's nuts, man. Like
it is.
it doesn't put like in order to do that, you have to be so outrageously consistent as a goal scorer. I think
Yeah,
Matthews has an opportunity if he stays healthy with like his biggest problem right now,
that's what it
Matthews,
comes
is
down to, right?
his
Health.
wrists and his like issues that he's had with that. And that honestly just speaks to how much of a fucking tank Ovechkin is. Like that guy's an
Yep.
absolute unit and has been for so many years. Like 40 goals, like almost every year. That's what you had to do to get that done. And like
Yeah.
he's had some huge goal seasons as well, but like
Hmm.
like to do that now as well, like he's tapered off here, but holy shit, he'll get this. And it's awesome to see,
Yeah.
and it's awesome just as we've watched hockey over the last like 20 years, like how this has become one of the most wicked stories. Because it's like, hey, was Sid gonna take over the league and be the face of it? Absolutely, he was, right?
Hmm.
And then Ovi, like that was gonna be that battle. Ovi got his a little later. Wish that kind of like they had some great playoff battles, but between the two of them, going back and forth, like I wish that had kind of fed into Ovi getting one at that time. Instead, Ovi gets it like 11, 10, I think it was like 12 years into his career,
Yeah.
and that was when Pittsburgh kind of tapered down, right? So, but now to see where this is today, and it's awesome, man.
It is wild, yeah, because I remember looking back. I mean, I remember being at like a house party back in the day. I think it was at Nick Murray's place. They had the
Shout out
shout
to
out
Nick Murray.
shout out Mursky. Uh, he had the
Yeah,
it was the Sidney Crosby Ovechkin. He had it on the TV there. I remember, and that was like years ago. Like it's been 15 years since we've been in high school, and
yeah,
it's like holy shit, man! Like time has just flown by. Those series were
yeah. We were
wicked to
drinking
watch,
orange
man.
juice and soda.
Yes, exactly. That's what it
Orange
was.
juice and soda.
Responsible young
Yeah.
adults. Responsible. But that was great, man. That was peak hockey right there. Gotta love it. So it sucks to see this on the back end, but I mean, hey, you got the new era with McDavid. He's coming along, and I mean, who's to say he's not gonna be the one to surpass this guy as well, right?
Yeah.
And when it's all said and done, when he stays healthy. But then you look at like I think this year, especially with the players in the East or the teams in the East, man, Toronto's got to climb this ladder a little bit, I think, just
I
with
think they
what's
are.
going on.
Yeah.
This is a good opportunity for them to get there. You got teams like Boston. Boston's not even in the playoffs currently, and teams that they'd be afraid of. Like
Yeah.
the rest of this lineup.
No, it's
Now you got
honestly
Florida,
Florida.
putting
Yeah.
Kachuk on LTIR today too.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah, there's that.
so
And then Florida made an interesting move. I'm kind of shook by it still with Seth Jones.
yeah,
Not sure what that's about. I thought like Seth Jones is I don't want to say overrated, but I just think like a very interesting name that's been floating around with all the hype that was on draft day, and has been moved a fair bit in his career. To then get that for first rounder and Spencer Knight. Like Spencer Knight was supposed to be like a solid next goaltender in the league, and to get that in a first rounder, Chicago made. I know Chicago swept it. Like I just don't see that being a good deal. Like I think that's a great deal for Chicago.
yeah,
So that's like I was like, oh my god, what is that? I shook. That's fantastic. But then I don't know what that
yeah.
is for Florida. Like I don't know if they're just feeling hurt back there, and that's part of the move. They felt desperate to make it, and kind of have
Could
that
be.
bit of that glory from last year carry. But yeah, it's an interesting league front right now. And then even on the Rantanen stuff that he might be on the move again. That's also wild. And then you got Leaf fans obviously craving. They're like, yeah, just go out and get Rantanen. Oh, you guys are crazy. But like
what are the Leafs going to do?
Yeah.
Do you think they're doing anything here at the deadline?
Oh, I wouldn't be shocked if they go out and get Rantanen.
That would be wild.
No, but so like the cap is moving, right? So there is a huge opportunity to kind of get some players in with the opportunity to re-sign. So we'll kind of see how this plays itself out, but to get another force on offense here, and I think I wouldn't do that deal because I honestly think like their depth of scoring right now makes sense. It's actually really come together. But hey, if you can get a guy like Rantanen, I think you do that 10 out of 10 times. So I don't know, curious to see what happens. It's just more wild what is going on. He got moved from Colorado. Obviously, he didn't expect that, or that's what it sounds like. But Joe Sakic and that crew kind of seemed to say the other thing. And then Carolina obviously not being able to, get a connection here made, and now they're thinking, okay, I got to make another move here and recoup some of this. So just an interesting kind of NHL trade deadline here.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting to see how it plays out at the end, and we're going to keep you guys up to date with everything that's going on for sure. But yeah, NHL, like this backstretch is going to be a little bit more interesting. We like the pursuit, the push towards the playoffs. Be interesting to see where the Leafs kind of finish out here. Yeah. Right now, you guys are lined up. It looks like you just bumped over Florida. Yeah. So technically, you're not playing Tampa first round.
So guaranteed we lose against the Sharks. Like that's how this goes. That's how this always goes.
That's every time though.
It's like, okay, we won 5 in a row. We're feeling real nice and good, and everybody's scoring. Everything is good.
We're gonna play down to our
absolutely get shit on by the Sharks.
Yeah,
you can just book it. Like I don't want to see it happen, but that's. I hope we beat them like 7-0. But this is where you go in and you just get stomped by a team that you shouldn't.
No. Yeah. Oh man. I can't wait to see if that plays. That'd be funny. I might sprinkle a little bit of money on the Sharks just for shits. Just for shits now. Oh, man, that's awesome.
Yeah.
So, Chappy, you got anything else you want to throw in there?
No. Keep hitting that bell. Subscribe.
Yes, sir.
Keep getting this stuff out, and we're going to be doing a little series between Corey and I. You obviously saw a little bit of that with the last one that Corey posted here. He's going to dive a bit more into the Bengals and the Bengals offseason here, and I'm going to get a lot into baseball in the next little bit here as spring training is off and running, and we are excited for that. So, love to see it.
Yep, that's it. So, appreciate you guys tuning in. Just like Chappy said, we're going to be working on some more of that content for you guys, but appreciate you tuning in. We'll catch you guys on the next podcast. Chappy and Bengals, out.
Easy.